Okay, this is a short video for discussing some miscellaneous subjects or topics that may be obvious to some people, but I think it's worth saying it again. First of all, when you start a part file, you see three planes here, XY, XZ, YZ. These three planes are the global planes. In other words, the location, which is the intersection of these three planes, is the part origin 0, 0, 0. Okay? Now, the other thing is that when it comes to creating parts, you may need certain uh, reference entities, such as points, lines, and planes. In fact, this is why the toolbar which does that is called reference elements. It's a good idea to organize your work and put some stuff, create some geometrical set, put the stuff in it so that you know exactly where they sit. Let me give you an example. First of all, insert. Up here, insert, there is either geometrical set or the geometrical set. This video presentation is only about geometrical set. Ordered geometrical set is a variation of this where to some people it's more flexible, to some people it is less flexible. So I'm not going to get into ordered geometrical set, which basically the order of creation of things is important. You can move them around. So let me start with the first one, geometrical set, and I'm going to give it a name. So for example, I'm going to say points. And you can write something here if you want, but that's fine, I don't want it. And then I'm going to create another one, another geometrical set. I'm going to call it lines. So I put all my lines, you know, the ones that I want, of course, in the second one, and my points in the first one. And another one I'm going to do is insert geometrical set. I'm going to call it planes. All right. When you create points, lines, or planes, make sure you want to put it in the appropriate geometrical set. Make sure that there's an underline below one of these branches. So right click, define in work object. So whatever points you create is going to go there. As a matter of fact, whatever you create is going to go there. So if I decide to put my points in here, of course, obviously I'm going to be creating. Even if I made a line, it's going to go there because this is active. Same thing with the line. So let me create a bunch of points here. So for example, 0, 0, 0. We need to do a couple more. So maybe coordinate 1, another one, 1, 1, 1. And let's do one more, perhaps 5 and 2. All right. So I have created 4 points. Now I want to create some lines, and I want to put my lines in there. So right click, define in work object. And now whatever I make is going to go into this geometrical set. Obviously, I want to create lines here, so I'm going to create a line through points. So let's do one line from here to there. This is one line. And let's do a few more. For example, from here to there. All right, etc. So let's do one more from there to there. Okay. And then cancel. So notice that the lines that I created are all going to go in there. Now, if I want to create some planes and I want to put them in this geometrical set, right click, define in work object, and let's create some planes. Let's do through, for example, one plane through 3 points. Here it is. So from this point and another point and another point. Okay, there is a plane that passes through these 3 points. Okay. All right. 3 points, or you can see 1, 2, and 3. Let's do another plane. So plane, for example, through a point and normal to a curve. So through normal to this curve, which is that line, And by default, if you don't select the point, it's going to take the middle point of that line. But if, for example, you want to select this endpoint, fine. There we are. So notice that two planes are created and they went into there. Let's create some sketches too. So insert another, not the ordered one. So insert geometrical set. I'll call it the sketches. And I'll just do one because I would like to bring up an issue here. So on a convenient plane, for example, on that plane that we created there, I sketch. Let's make it a circle, something like that. Exit. There we are. So this sketch was made in this plane, which was plane 2. As a matter of fact, if I double click on it, it goes into the, let me see now, it goes into this plane, you can see that, and that's plane number 2. Okay, you can see. All right, good. Exit. Now, when I try to pad the sketch, I can say, wait a minute, I cannot create three-dimensional objects in geometrical sets. In the geometrical set, create any three-dimensional object. So automatically, it's going to convert that to, it's going to make it's going to convert it to part body. So let me do it like this. Cancel that. Try it again. So we do a pad. Say OK. There's my sketch. And notice that automatically it puts it in the part body. And let's say OK. Now notice that the difference is this. Ordinarily, if you create a sketch in the part body, for example, and pad it, the sketch is going to be right underneath this pad. Okay, but because I put these things in a geometrical set, it is not actually going to put a second branch here which says sketch. Okay, so obviously if you double click on this, it tells you what sketch it was right there. See that? Sketch 1. And you can go there and make the appropriate changes. Okay, but my point is that under normal circumstances, if you don't use geometrical set, every time you pad, the sketch is going to be right underneath it, for example. But when you create a geometrical set, that won't happen. Let's give it a try. For example, on the XZ plane, I will sketch. Notice that right there is a sketch which is not put in that geometrical set that I created. So let me create a rectangle here. Exit. And pad it. Right there. You can see that pad 2 has sketch 2 immediately below that branch. This one was put in a geometrical set. That's why when we used it for pad 1, it actually did not appear up here. Now there's something else that I'm going to point out to you, and I'll make a next the video clip which describes these things. When you create a when you go to the sketch, any one of these, either here or this, when you go to any sketch and you right click, you can see that there's something here which says sketch, change sketch support. Okay, so let me select this, and when you expand the type, there are 3 types: sliding, isolated, and position. In the next, in one of the video clips I'm going to do, it may not be in the next one after this, but you should look for it. I'll call it the differences between sliding, position, and isolated sketches. I'm going to explain how these things they differ from each other, and I can assure you that you know, I looked everywhere on YouTube. Yet there are some good tutorials in it, but they don't quite explain in detail what the differences of these types of sketches are. But I mean, basically, we use it all the time, but there's no good documentation, understandable documentation with demonstration that shows you basically how do these things differ from each other? Okay, so the title of that video clip that I'm going to make perhaps is going to be explaining the differences between position sketch, sliding sketch, and isolated sketch. Okay, just to show you what happens. For example, if I go here, if I go there and say right click, change the sketch support, and instead of the XZ plane where I drew this thing, suppose I go and select the XY plane, and we say okay. And where is it now? Let me hide this. Where is this? Oh, pad, yeah, pad 2. It's let me see which one was pad 2. Okay, so let me change the translucency of this. Maybe it's sitting inside of it, I'm not sure. Actually it is, where's that first one? Pad 1. Pad 1 was off this guy, right? So that is not showing. Anyway, we'll get to that, we'll find out. Okay, so let me stop the video